So after the UFC releasing potential matchups and matchups that have been made, I thought to myself for a very long time as I sit in the security office for 12 hours straight, bored out of my fucking mind. I sit here thinking, this could be the biggest year in UFC history. If you think about it, if everything goes according to plan and the champions stay active like they should be, there's no limit to what, you know, the UFC can make bank this year, and they can engage even more fans in. Now I got quite a bit of notes here, you know what I'm saying? So these are so obviously I'm gonna start with like the elephant in the room, Conor McGregor's return. Now obviously he announced on Instagram that he got offered to coach Tough. For the longest time I was thinking it might have been Tony Ferguson against him, because Tony Ferguson was saying about well, he said about being offered on Tough, but I don't think that's what he meant. I think he just meant that he would fight McGregor on Tough. Like I said in the video though, is in one of my last videos, so please run that up. By the way, straight after this video, I will be posting the Derek Lewis and Spivak card, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, if you're new, please like and subscribe, and keep it real MMA, just chuck that in. But yeah, but yeah, I said in the video though, I don't want it to be Tony Ferguson. I'd rather it be somebody that like has a lot of not a lot of momentum, but knows is gonna be very competitive with Conor, and not just be very competitive, will bring in all the fans because it's such a compelling matchup and stuff like that. And like I said, Michael Chandler would be that fight, but I don't want it to be Michael Chandler because I know Michael Chandler won't talk shit, and I know it won't be a beef. So I've narrowed it down, right? Because obviously, right, they're thinking of doing Michael Chandler versus Arman Tsarukyan. I'll get to that in a minute. I think what the UFC should do, and I think what they might do is, why not? I think they'll do Dustin Poirier. Now, you might be thinking, how the fuck does McGregor deserve that fight, blah, 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 blah. But think about it. Who else? If it's not Chandler, if it's not Diaz, if it's not Tony Ferguson, who? Who can he come back against, get a massive win over, and be considered he's back? Because let's be real, it's not going to be Charles Oliveira, it's not going to be Beneil Dariush, he's not going to get Gamrot or Tsarukyan or Gaethje, because Gaethje got Fiziev. So who is he really going to fight in the top 10? There's nobody. And nobody's really an intriguing matchup for him outside of the top 15 that would bring massive views. That would bring massive interest. Obviously, it'll obviously sell over 1 million pay-per-view buys. And on top of that, the fact that Masvidal's now fighting Burns, Masvidal's off the table. So, and he's obviously not going to be Colby. I did suggest Colby, but I knew it wouldn't be Colby. So, who else? Who else? So, I think it'll be Dustin Poirier. And I think they'll justify it by saying that the third fight wasn't a proper fight, because obviously McGregor snapped his leg. And I agree with that, because it would have gone into the second round, and it would have been interesting to see how that second round panned out. Sorry if the heat is loud. It's fucking cold in this fucking steel box. But yeah. Now, I think it should be Dustin Poirier, because Dustin Poirier's left out in the lightweight division right now. Fiziev got Justin Gaethje. Tsarukyan wants Chandler. I did say Fiziev and Gaethje. Oliveira and Dariush is trying to be made. Now, that's a 50-50 fight right there. That's a massive fight for the UFC if they can pull that off. I'm liking Oliveira's chances in that, especially if he's an underdog, and apparently he is. So it's pretty good if that happens. So yeah, I think personally it should be Dustin Poirier. That's just my thoughts. Now, back to the topic at hand as well. Obviously, now we've cleared the elephant in the room. Obviously, Conor McGregor's going to bring in those millions of pay-per-view buys that the UFC desperately needed. So that's that. Now, he can come back in International Fight Week after Tough. That'd be pretty good. Nice turnaround for Poirier after his fight with Chandler. Pretty good. Now, Brandon Moreno. Right, so obviously he just won the belt. I think what they should do is maybe he could do an International Fight Week, maybe May. I think he could turn around pretty quickly against Alexandre Pantoja. I think that's obviously the next fight. He even said in the post-fight interview he's the next guy. So I reckon he should have a quickish turnaround. He didn't really take damage against Figgy. So like I said, this year the pay-per-view buys and like how well that the UFC does, it really depends on if the champions want to stay active or not. So obviously we got Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Obviously that's a massive fight in Australia. Obviously we got Jack Della Maddalena on that card. So we got a lot of prospects coming through. We got a lot of good solid fights on there, you know. And obviously it's the Perth card. So yeah, that's an intriguing fight. Now, if hopefully I am picking Makhachev to win that fight, but if it hopefully doesn't do too much damage to Volkanovski, so he can quickly turn around for the interim title fight, which is going to be between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. Hopefully the winner of that doesn't take too much damage, so then they can turn around pretty quickly. That's another big seller as a co-main event or a feature fight on the main card. Like I say, if it's a three title fight card, say like they fight in February and then he turns back around in, say, August, September. So then maybe if Jones and Garn happens and they don't take too much damage, if Jones wins, he could be the main event of that card or something like that, and then they can be the co-main event, and then another feature fight like Brandon Moreno. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of options the UFC can go with here. This is, I believe, Dana, man, this is going to be a massive year for the UFC if they pull it off right. They've got solid fight night cards. Obviously, the next card is Lewis versus Spivak. That's a very good main event, in my opinion. I don't know what my watch is doing there. But yeah, so yeah, obviously now, right. So, obviously I said about Brandon Moreno, obviously, right, that's a potential quick turnaround. Obviously the McGregor's a potential quick turnaround. Now we're focused on Usman versus Edwards 3. Now this has already been confirmed for the March card. That's big for March, right? Obviously, by the way, because it doesn't seem like Tony Ferguson is going to be doing that, it looks like the card after, it might be Paddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson is what it's looking like. So yeah, that's a good one right there. Obviously Justin Gaethje, Fiziev. That's a banger of a fight. It's going to be on a pay-per-view, so that's going to bring in even more. Obviously, if Chandler and Arman Tsarukyan can get on a card somewhere, that can bring in a lot of interest. Mainly due to Chandler, obviously, but obviously with Arman Tsarukyan as well, because it's a very, very intriguing matchup. And then we move down one, and then we go Oliveira versus Dariush. That's going to be a big one. They can be a co-main event of a pay-per-view anyway. Oliveira brings in a lot of pay-per-view points. And Oliveira has a chance to finish Dariush in spectacular fashion in the first round. Dariush has a chance to finish him too with a submission, maybe finish him with TKO, something like that. And then obviously then for the co-main event of Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, which is going to be a massive fight. We got Burns versus Masvidal. Now Burns versus Masvidal, that's a hell of a fight, man. That's a fight that needed to happen and is great. So yeah, that's going to bring in a lot more pay-per-view points. Like I said, I know Masvidal's sliding on that end, but if he can bank in about 450k pay-per-view buys with Colby on there, only because the matchup was at the wrong time, he could bring in quite a bit of value with pay-per-view points through as a core main. And then obviously I know Izzy is losing a lot of pay-per-view points, but now I think this is going to skyrocket to at least a good 600, 700k buys at least. Because obviously Pereira won the first fight. This is an intriguing rematch. Can he redeem the third, can he win on the fourth chance? If not, then Pereira obviously is going to get even more popularity off of winning that shit. So maybe on that card, maybe as maybe as a feature fight or the opening of the main card, they can get like a Whittaker versus Cannonier 2 rematch. Because obviously I know Vettori just lost to Whittaker. Vittori's got Delidze. By the way, new talent coming up to the middleweight division, because it's a fucking trash division, so I'm glad there's new talent coming up. So yeah, like it's looking pretty good. If Whittaker and Cannonier can have their second fight, like I said, have it as an opening of a main card, give Cannonier a chance to make a name for himself, give him a chance to redeem a loss. I think Whittaker's gonna school him again. But yeah, and now I'm thinking, right, how do we insert Sean Strickland into a pay-per-view? Because I don't want him to turn around too quickly. Obviously, he was the last card of the year, first card of the year. Now, what I would prefer from Strickland is to maybe get in on International Fight Week and maybe trying. No, I don't want him on the same card as McGregor. When do I want Sean Strickland to come back? Maybe June latest. Maybe we can get him on the Jones and Garn card. If that can happen, that's very intriguing. Now, who would I want to see Sean Strickland fight? Ooh, that's a tough one. It is a tough one. Who would I like to see Sean Strickland fight? Obviously, Chris Curtis got Gastelum next. Strickland just beat Imavov. Maybe Strickland versus... He's already beaten Hermansson. Obviously, Vittori got Delidze. He lost to Pereira. Maybe give him Paulo Costa. I think that'd be a good fight. Paulo Costa, I reckon, yeah. And Paulo Costa will see that as a winnable matchup. And it is a winnable matchup. So, I say Paulo Costa for that fight. But yeah. So, in the meantime, how are we going to fill in... Let's move on to like a fight night type situation. Instead of Raquel Pennington versus Irene Aldana, why not do, as a main event, Jan versus Ankalaev 2? For a fight night, that's great. Obviously, they don't bring in a lot of buys, a lot of attention, but it's an intriguing matchup that hardcore fans will watch and bring in money for. That's a good fight. In my opinion, the first fight was fair. The draw was very fair, in my opinion. So, let's do Jan, Ankalaev 2, let's settle the score. Let's see who can win and who's the better man. And then, obviously then, like I said, Stipe's there if Jones beats Garn. Obviously, get Strickland on that card, Jones versus Garn, against Paulo Costa. Stipe can fight Jones if Jones wins, or Garn, whoever. Literally, the division has been 10 times better since Francis has left, which is crazy, and Garn was left. Now we get on to the light heavyweight division. Now, this is how we sort this out. Now, Jan versus Ankalaev can happen, say, March. Whoever wins out of that could be ready by... Nah, I wouldn't even say March. February, March. Yeah, I'd say March. And then if they're ready by June or July, do Hill versus one of them two. I think Ankalaev will beat Jan the second time, maybe. So do Hill versus Ankalaev. Or if none of them are ready, then obviously you'll have to wait for Yuri, which is not great because I don't want the champions to be too inactive. I hope Hill does need the activity. I hope that he doesn't stay out for too long. But if not, I don't think he'll slow down the momentum too much. But I'd rather him fight the winner of Jan and Ankalaev first, because Yuri will probably be back in like August, September, October, something like that. So why not do Ankalaev or Jan? Jan might win, you never know. So yeah, something like that, you know. And then I don't know about these rumors, the potential of Sterling versus Cejudo. It's a big potential, but here's the issue: is like, where do you fit that on a card? Like, sure, you could do maybe if like I said, out of the Jones and Garn situation, if Jones wins or Garn wins, whoever wins, it doesn't matter who wins that fight, but whoever turns around after that card for the next pay-per-view that they'll be on before the end of the year, maybe you could do Sterling versus Cejudo as the third title fight, and maybe just have a women's title fight third, and then them as a co-main event, something like that, or maybe swap it, whoever, like maybe Valentina Shevchenko can defend her belt again after Grasso, or something like that. Or when's she defending against Grasso? I can't remember, but do you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Now, this leaves out a couple of good matchups now. So this leaves out Shavkat, because I know Shavkat got Jeff Neal, but who does Shavkat fight after Jeff Neal? Now, because I believe he will beat Jeff Neal. Now, this is what it leaves out, because it puts him in the top 10. So he'll need to fight somebody else. Now, Shavkat can carry quite a bit of momentum for certain pay-per-view cards. Maybe could be on it, or maybe a main event of a fight night. Maybe give him somebody like... it's a tough one, because it's like... He shouldn't be given a top 5... Well, he shouldn't be given a title elimination bout after that. So maybe give him somebody like a... a loser of a certain matchup. So maybe give him, I don't know, maybe like say if Bilal fights Hamzat, and if he loses then give him Bilal, or if Hamzat loses give him Hamzat, something like that. But yet again, though, I'd rather see him fight for a title. Idealistically, idealistically. But I don't know. I think Shavkat could carry the momentum of beating Neil and then just kind of sit out for a bit and see what the options are for now. But yeah, like, obviously then we've got Kevin Holland coming back against Santiago Ponzinibbio. Whoever wins that should get a top 15 matchup. I do think Holland will win that. That carries a lot of buys, that carries a lot of momentum. Well, not a lot of buys, but you know what I'm saying. It carries a lot of fans around. And then who does that leave out? It leaves out Colby, Hamzat, Bilal. Now Colby proved that he isn't the biggest draw in the world, so if you put him up against Hamzat, it's a different story. Now actually this is what you could do. If Colby versus Hamzat, if Bilal's mad, Bilal will know, right? Whoever wins out of Colby and Hamzat will get the title shot. So if he takes Shavkat in the meantime, or maybe even Burns in the meantime, then he can get his title shot. But preferably Shavkat, and see how it goes. Now, Colby versus Hamzat is a massive draw. That's at least 600, 700k pay-per-view buys. Get a very, very stacked card underneath. Maybe do it in New York, or maybe do it before then. Maybe do it like International Fight Week in one of those pay-per-view cards. Maybe do it, no, that's Fight Week, sorry. Do it one of the ones in June, July, something like that, because, you know, Colby hasn't fought since March of 2022, so, you know, very inactive again, but yeah, because that leaves him out. But like, them two fighting together is a massive draw. Even if like they're a co-main event or something, that's a very good fight. And Bilal will know if they match up against each other, Bilal's gonna know that whoever wins that is gonna get the title shot, and he knows that. So I think he'd be smart to take a fight in the meantime, but maybe he won't take Shavkat, I don't know. I have a feeling if Burns beats Masvidal, he'll take Burns, which is not a bad matchup for himself. Not a great matchup, but not bad. Or you take Masvidal wherever. I don't think Masvidal will win though. But yeah, that could happen. But I think you'll do maybe Shavkat, and then if he wins that, he gets the title shot. You know. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's the video for now. I just wanted to say all that. Very good fights. This is big potential for the UFC. Wherever you do UFC, do not fuck it up. This is good potential right here. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As you can tell, I keep it real MMA. I talk all things MMA from mainly the UFC, but some other promotions from time to time. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Like I said, watch out for the card video. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, share, and whatever you gotta do with this video. This is Keep It Real MMA. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.